Welcome, everyone. This is the free info session for the UC Davis Continuing in Professional Education Applied Sensory and Consumer Science Certificate Program. If you are here and you're not supposed to be here, feel free to exit, but otherwise we are very glad you are here and we want you to ask a lot of questions. This sensory info session is about you. We want you to ask what you need to know. We want to give you all the information you might need. One favor we're going to ask is that you put this information in the Q&A portion of our webinar, and that you put your questions in there, and then we'll review those all at the end. My name is Trucy DeWitt, and I am the administrator of the Applied Sensory and Consumer Science Certificate Program. I've been the administrative guide for about 11 years. I can assist you through the ins and outs of grades, receipts, and which portal to be in. Also with us is our enrollment coach, Christy Craig. She will help you through the application process. And should you need some financial options, we have Suzette Odom, and she is our financial advisor, and she can help you with that. Our panelists today are our instructors, Becky Blybaum and Jean-Xavier Guinard. And we also have with us our alumni, Martha Castellano from Griffith Foods in Colombia. She's going to share her experience and how this program benefited her. And I just, on a side note, she's my favorite alum. We have stayed in touch for the last 8 years, and we know each other outside of this program as well. And she's just a wonderful human being. So I look forward to you being able to hear how this program has helped her. To kick us off, we're gonna want to know where you're all from. This is a global program, and we'd like to find out where you're located. So what continent are you sitting on right now? Just a few more seconds. I'm not shocked. We have no one in Antarctica. I've never had anybody there. But right now we're looking at 13% of us are from Asia, 65 North America, 9% from South America. I've got 9% of us here online are from Europe, and we've got 4% in Australia. So greetings to those down under, and thank you everyone for being here. Our program began in 2000. It was the brainchild of our beloved Dr. Howard Schutz. Howard was a forward-thinking man and always on the cusp of innovation. His co-creators are your instructors, Jean-Xavier and Becky. Howard wanted accessibility for the working professional from anywhere in the world, and he created this online program. We are proud to say that we've reached over 30 countries and 23 different states in the United States. We lost Howard in 2007, but we will continue to serve this community with his mission in mind. September begins our 21st cycle, and we hope to continue for many, many years. Just as a reminder, type your questions as we move through the slideshow using the Q&A feature, and then we'll try to answer everything at the end. So UCD CPE uses two separate systems. We have your student account system, and we also have the Canvas system. Your student account is the business record system. This is where we keep your applications, your invoices, and receipts, and your official grades are kept here as well. When you apply, you are creating your student ID, and that is your first foray into this system of record. Your online classroom is known as Canvas, and each course will be ready for access on the first day it's scheduled. If you look into Canvas prior to the first day, you won't see your course, but you can learn to navigate how Canvas works with some amazing tutorials. And I definitely recommend you peruse Canvas prior to your first day so that you're ready to engage when the course is open. Plan your work and work your plan. It's one of my husband's favorite things to say to me, and it's one of the most annoying things I've ever heard, but it is true. In this program, you're going to need to plan 7 to 12 hours a week to meet all your deadlines. Each course is 69 days long, and in each course, you're going to be required to get a C or better and have a zero balance on your account in order to receive your certificate. Prerequisites for this course. You need to know statistics. You will use it extensively in courses 2 and 3. Some places to get your prerequisite met are these spots online, and you'll also will be using R. And if you don't meet this requirement, you can still be accepted into the program, but you will have to meet that prereq prior to course 2. Trust me, if you don't meet it, you are really going to suffer, and it will show, and you will probably ask to drop if you don't know statistics. The prerequisites for the other courses are the course that preceded it. This is a sequential program, and so in order to get into consumer testing methods, you need to finish application of foundations of sensory. Excuse me, I said that backwards. You need to do foundations first, then sensory, then consumer testing, and then the end, you tie it all together with the applications of what you've learned. This is where you begin the journey by applying. And Christy Craig, our enrollment coach, will be the one to guide you through that process. Christy, do you want to introduce yourself?
Thank you so much for joining us today. I'm Christy Craig, and I'm an enrollment coach for this program, as well as several others with continuing and professional education. So I am here, as Tracy said, to help you through the process. I'm able to answer any additional questions that you have following up after this information session. I will be putting my Calendly link into the chat. Feel free to schedule an appointment with me. That way it's convenient around your schedule. And then also, if you do have questions along the way completing your application, please reach out. I'll also include my phone number as well as email. I am a resource for you to help make this process as easy as possible. So I will be dropping that in as well as a link to the application. Please save it and let me know if I can help you in any way.
Thanks, Christy. Another person who will help you along the way is Suzette Odom. If you have any financing issues, our program was just eligible for VA benefits now, and I will pass this along to Suzette so she can share this information with you.
Thanks, Tracy. So on the first bullet point on here, we do offer private student loans. The 2 lenders that we partner with are Sallie Mae and College Avenue. Both are really good lenders. What I suggest is looking at both of them, because they do tend to have different repayment options. And then what you're going to want to do is, if you are interested in using one of the private student loans, you want to make sure that you use the UCD CPE school code on here. That's the 00131375, because it is different than the main campus's school code. So make sure that you do use that school code. And then, as Tracy was saying, our program is now eligible for VA benefits. We do offer Chapter 33, Chapter 31, Chapter 35. If you're a spouse of a veteran, we also work with the MyCAA benefits as well. It's another scholarship that you can receive. And I think that's about it for the VA benefits. But if you have any questions regarding those 2 items, please feel free to contact me at my email below. You can also schedule an appointment with me at the calendly.com site on the very bottom, or you can just reach out and leave me a message. If I don't answer the phone, I'll definitely give you a call right back. And I think that's everything. And I'll put a link on the chat too that will take you right to our financing options website, so you can check that out as well.
Awesome. Thanks, Suzette.
You're welcome.
Another note here is I've still been working on trying to get a scholarship for this particular program. it's a lot more difficult than I thought it would be. And I'm also trying to make sure that international students are included in that. I don't have success yet. So keep your fingers crossed, pray, or do whatever it is you do so that we can make that happen. All right, we do have one discount available, and that's for those companies that are sending more than one employee. Griffith has sent us many people through the years, Martha included, and also Mondelez has also, they send us 2 people a year. Currently, we are able to give you the discount, basically like buy one, get one 10% off. Unfortunately, next year, that is going to be changed. You have to buy 2 in order to get 10% off of one. But we have been given permission to go ahead and honor this for this year, and we will be doing that. So contact me directly if your company wants to send more than one person, and we can make those arrangements. I think that is all we have for that one. This course, oops, sorry about that. Course materials, we have printed through Canella. They are our partner in publishing the course readers. The course readers have articles and everything you're going to need in there. It is separate from your tuition, and the costs usually run somewhere between $100 and $175, depending on how many articles are in the reader. They are great to work with, and if there's any issues, they're great at resolving them as well. So we're happy to be partnered with them. All right, so tell us a little bit about yourself and why you're here. Are you a lifelong learner? Are you transitioning new into this industry? Does your company want to train you here? Do you want to change roles in your job? Do you just need to know a little bit more about this industry? All right, one more second. Okay. And it looks like a lot of you are lifelong learners, and we really appreciate that because that's kind of what we do here, lifelong learning. We also want to help you transition into your industry, and just a few people are looking for training from their companies, but that will be great. We're here to help with that, and trust me, your instructors have such a great knowledge base. You will be just thrilled to be working with them and learning from them. All right, course 1. Becky, will you tell them a little bit about yourself and about this course?
Absolutely, and thank you. I'm really happy to be here and still be part of this program from the founding. And you know, I think one of the key motivations for me is I had great mentors during my journey into sensory science, and you know, part of what they really instilled in us is to pay it forward, to take these techniques and tools that we've learned that are so valuable for companies and, you know, teach others about them and really, you know, understand the fundamentals and the foundations, because you need to know the history of the field. And that's why, you know, I think Foundations is a really great place to start, because we have you read some old articles, you know, it's like, oh, but that's really the foundation, understanding the history of the field and, you know, just the increased application. So in Foundations, we go through the complexity of our measuring instrument, the human, which has many issues, and it really requires us to modify methods to account for that variability in people and products and methodology and everything else. So we try to build a great core base, because that's where we talk about physiology and psychology and everything about the human instrument, and we introduce some core sensory methods before we go on to the next course. So it's a really great time. We try to kick that off with office hours, regular office hours. So you can always talk to me once a week if you want to just hang out and talk about whatever is of interest of that week. And we do introduce some guest lectures to help supplement the materials and really try to keep it fresh.
Awesome, thanks, Becky.
Yeah.
Jean Xavier, will you explain course 2 and 3? And you.
Good morning, everyone. It's great to see so many of you here and to see this interest in our program. We've been doing this for 20 plus years with a great deal of success and really a wonderful set of alumni. So we're hoping that you will join them. My name is Jean-Xavier Guinard, and I'm a professor of sensory science in the Department of Food Science and Technology at UC Davis. Just like Becky, I started a long time ago as a grad student and trained with somebody that, with the name of Rosemary Pangborn. Many of you may be familiar with Rosemary's name. And then had a chance to work with Howard Schutt as well on the development of this program with Becky many years ago. So really thrilled to continue to be involved in the second and the third course, which are the second on sensory evaluation methods, and then the third one on consumer testing methods. So those two courses have a very strong focus on methods, sensory evaluation and consumer testing methodologies, which means that in addition to the methods of setting up different testing protocols, we also do quite a bit of statistics to analyze the data that we produce from those tests. So we will be learning about sensory evaluation methods, consumer testing methods, how to analyze the data from those two sets of methods, and then how to apply them to quality assurance and product development, even though that will be more of a focus of the fourth course. So in terms of the learning outcomes that we want you to experience, one of the things we hope is that you apply some of the methods you learn about, that they help you grow as a sensory scientist and a consumer scientist, and that you use these techniques on the job. That's always the most rewarding piece for us. The other thing that I will echo from what you just heard from Becky is that our instruction is delivered through some recorded lessons and transcribed lessons, forum discussions, office hours, guest lectures, and then the interactions among all of you, the participants in the program, which is always the best part. Why is that? Because you're a very diverse group, typically very international, coming from very different types of companies. And so you learn from each other almost as much as you learn from the teaching team at UC Davis continuing and professional education. So the last thing I will mention about courses 2 and 3 is that we just revamped completely the program, which means you've got updated course materials, a revamped format and mode of instruction delivery, and that we're always evolving, trying to stay up on the latest techniques and share those with you. So to summarize, course 2 on sensory evaluation methods, so things like discrimination testing, descriptive analysis, and then course 3 focuses on consumer testing methods. So on both the quantitative and the qualitative tools that you use in consumer testing to understand what drives consumer behavior, and then apply that again to optimizing your products, developing new products, and quality assurance.
All right, thanks. And Becky, back to Becky, and will you please explain how it all comes together in course 4?
Well, yeah, course 4 is absolutely my favorite. I love it because, you know, when we first started doing this, I also graduated from UC Davis and had Rosemary Pangborn and Howard Schutt as a key mentor of mine. And when I got out and I was working at Tragon Corporation, and Howard was one of our consultants, and we were applying all of these techniques. And so when Howard had the idea of creating this program, you know, we really went through a lot of the applications that companies were coming to us for, and, you know, kind of the forefront of really applying this to multinational corporations, but also to just any product issue. And so we went through kind of what are the core things that people look for, and new product development is certainly one, product improvement, quality assurance, shelf life testing. You know, when you're really trying to innovate and optimize products, sensory claims testing, what are the resources available to all of us, what kinds of organizations and books and journals and just companies that are working in this area. So we really try to pull it all together, everything that you've learned in the foundations and then the sensory and the consumer methods that you learn in course 2 and 3. How do you apply those tools? You've got this whole toolkit. Now think about what questions you're being asked and how do you best apply those? Because there's no cookbook way, right? We're trying to give you fundamentals and principles. And as the questions come your way, you have to figure out what's the best approach and be efficient with the research and the resources, because sensory is, we do a lot of, I call it a lot of schlepping. We carry products around. We're dealing with a lot of things. We code cups. There's a lot of effort and work that goes into these programs when we set up an experiment. And so you want to make sure that you have the best opportunity for success when you do those experiments and really start providing, proving your value to the organization, because I think sensory, we doing it a long time. I still love it. And I think it really has a core seat at the table for setting company strategy if you understand how to apply these things at the highest level. So that's what we try to give you a taste of. And, again, we do regular office hours because we do see this as like a working internship, that most of you are working in this field now. You're getting questions from your requesters. How do you apply those things? So we try to give you as many tools as possible. And we also have a podcast series. So during COVID, I recorded about, close to 20 podcast lectures, just with people that helped me along the way, people that I see as, really instrumental. And we also have the advisors of this program, that we have a leadership board, and we interviewed them, just having good discussions about, and they're global, they're worldwide professionals. So you get to hear from them and just hear our conversations in a more relaxed way. So those are all recorded and you can listen to them at your convenience. We do try to tie them with a lesson, but they're really just, they can also be standalone. But I really enjoy this course. I love the conversations and what everybody's dealing with at the moment. So yeah, that's course 4.
All right, thanks, Becky.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to find, everyone, that passion is not something that is lacking in this program. Everyone involved here is passionate about what we do and how to get you in and how to make it work for your life. So our next passionate person is going to be Martha, and she graduated in 2014, and she's going to share how this program helped her.
Good morning, everyone, and good afternoon from here. I'm located in Colombia, so it's a pleasure to be today with you guys, and thank you for the university for inviting me. So I started in the food industry like 20 years before, and I really began in the sensory world like 18 years. But the real journey started when I become into the sensory panel leader in Colombia, and I have the opportunity to become, to translate from panelist to the sensory leader. And it is another way, it is a very different way. So in that moment, I realized, as you guys, that you are looking for expanding your knowledge. I found the same thing. I found that I really had some gaps to have to be covered in order to have another perspective, and in order to have more techniques and new knowledge to respond better the business objectives and the client's demands. So I was looking for many different courses. You can imagine how many courses I have taken in those years, and I was feeling that something was missing, it's still missing in the background and in the knowledge as well. So I found the same in every course. I found the same discrimination, descriptive, and all those things, but no any other course except for UC Davis program covered a lot of topics, as Rebecca and Jen Sevier mentioned, in that complexity about sensory science, the word as well as it is. And I really love to be involved and to enroll the program. because for our markets, for example, in Latin America, it's not easy to find this kind of courses. So for me, it was like, wow, this is the piece that was missing in the puzzle, and to broaden out my perspectives and my possibilities. And I just remember, as well as we are advancing in the program, that we had a tremendous project with PepsiCo, for example. That is a key global customer for us in Griffith. And they wanted the better flavor in Colombian market for their chips. And I thought that external preference mapping, for example, was a great tool for performing that kind of challenge. And I contacted Jen Xavier in that moment. And despite the distance, he helped me a lot to perform this project. And the customer gets like, oh my God, this project exceeds my expectations. And in that moment, I truly understand the importance of the program to upload my techniques and open my mind to another business opportunities, because it's like translate the lab into the business opportunities. So I set completely my mind, and I start to planning and I start to think more strategically to how can sensory be involved in the business support and improving our customer business, improving our products, and improving the brands. And that's how we can collaborate all together to achieve the financial goals in the business. So it was like a bloom, like mind blowing in that moment for me. So after that, I start to gain a great reputation, like an expert in the field, with customers, with clients, with different institutions in Colombia and abroad Colombia, in Andean region, for example, Peru, Ecuador, Argentina, Brazil, and among others. And I say, wow, I gained this reputation because I gained more experience in the field, and now I feel more confidence and have reliability in what I'm doing now in the duty in the basic duties. So it was very valuable to me. And Jen Xavier, thank you for your support, because you helped me with all the project from the beginning to the end. It was very nice. And also, for example, I have a very great story in pandemic during the lockdowns. Actually, we were suffering because everything was closed. I think for all of us, everything was closed. And I have a panel from 25 years of background, so of experience. So imagine the instructions were, you can go to plant, you can go to perform the panels in plant. So your panel is in risk, all those years of training, all those years or experience is in risk because the pandemic. So I was concerned in that moment, but thank God, I think I remembered that the first session, I received a box with many different materials, and I have to try the materials, and I have then to go into the platform and share the experience about what we have to do in that task. And at that moment, I have like, oh, wow, I have an idea. What if they can't send samples worldwide, because this program is an international one, I can send samples to my panelists at home. So in that moment, my panel became from physical panels to virtual panels. And to me, it was an inspiration, because the program, even 18 years ago, I'm applying things, learning in the program. And nowadays I say thank you, because my panel now is surviving because of that idea. So I always grateful with this program, guys. So from my perspective, from my own experience, please don't think twice. There is no any other course like UC Davis program in sensory and consumer science field. You will feel how this program will fill your gaps. and how you can open your mind and look for other perspectives. And look at me, now I am here. I couldn't imagine that I someday I could be like a manager in sensory science, and even though for even less for our region. So I think it's a very good background for any professional that wants to broaden up their knowledge and the experience and the mindset in every way in sensory science. So thank you for your time, and let me know if as I'm living in Latin America, don't be shy, don't be scared for the English. The platform is super friendly. You can go inside with your student ID and just perform the task, and running the program is very well structured. Is very from the basics to the advanced topics, is very making sense of how the process is complexity the topics. So don't be scared about it. So I encourage you to enroll this year to the program, because you will see the difference.
Thank you, Martha. That was so well said. I told you she was passionate. Oops. All right. So that concludes our portion of this session, and now it's your portion. Please utilize your Q&A in order to ask the questions. And I see that we have a few questions in here already. All right, our first one is, during each course, are there lectures every day? Are the lectures live or recorded? Do we need to attend all live lectures? How do we combat this with the different time zones? Becky, you want to take it?
So the lectures are released typically 2 weeks in advance, right? So we try to keep 2 weeks ahead. We really like to have everyone go at the same pace, because or about the same pace, because a lot of the discussion board topics and how you learn, if you're going through the same material, then you can really have a cohort and be following along the same thing. But the lectures are recorded, and you can listen to them at your leisure when you do that. So time zones should not matter. When we do office hours, though, we set those up, I record them so you can watch them later. We love to have you be there live, but we know that that's an extra thing. It's not graded, it's not required. It's just a bonus that we like to, since we're on Zoom and we have this great platform, it's nice to see everyone. If you do have immediate questions, or just call, but we do record those, especially if we have a guest lecture, so you can see those whenever, whatever time is convenient for you. I mean, having it online on a computer issue, it's really great. So it gives flexibility.
All right. Next question is, are we going to learn how to modify sensory tests to work in the production plants? No red light or sensory booths? I know I can't answer that one. JX?
Well, I mean, we're going to cover all the methodology that's out there, and obviously the means to implement those methods is different for different participants, different types of companies. So based on the principles that we teach, then you should be able to find the flexibility you need to adjust to whatever facilities you might have. We'll show you how to optimize those facilities, but we'll tell you about best practices, and hopefully that will convince you to make the necessary investments in a software or in a type of sensory booth, or the right lighting for your sensory test, so that you'll get the most out of those tests. And then from Thomas as well, there was a question about choosing between grammar or masters. Those are two different concepts. This is a certificate program. You need to complete all 4 courses to get your certificate. And so it's different from a graduate degree, but to be fair, most of the materials that we present in this program are the same materials that, for example, I present to both our undergraduate students and our graduate students at UC Davis. So, you know, the materials are going to be similar. It's more geared to people who are professionals on the job, working in industry. But again, the materials don't change too much between the certificate program and what would be an equivalent master's degree.
Excuse me, I'm sorry about that. Our next question is from Jessica Coppola. Thank you for this presentation. My name is Jessica Coppola, and I am the professor of nutrition and food science at Sac City College. And I just thought I would let you know that Sac City is working with UCDE Food Science to expose our students to the world of food science and all the amazing career paths that exist. I guess I just wanted to make sure that you were aware that we are building a food science program and invite you to reach out and see the future of opportunities for collaboration. Thank you, Jessica. That's exciting, really exciting. I'd also like to introduce Gail, who is going to be the TA for the next 2 courses, basically course 4, and then she'll be joining Becky again. So Gail, if you want to pop in and say hi and let people know who you are and what you do on campus.
Hi, so I'm Gail, and I'm working now in the Delarue lab, in the sensory lab in the UC Davis as a lab manager. As a background, I've got a PhD in food science and sensory and consumer science. Well, by the way, I'm French. I arrived in the United States and in UC Davis last year. And then, yeah, my background in food science and sensory science, I worked almost 15 years. Half in industry, in the food industry. I worked at Yoplait, General Mills now, at Mars in pet food in collaboration with R&D, building some new products using sensory and consumer science. I have half of my career in a market institute called GfK. It's a German market institute, internationally known. It's the 4th market institute in the world. And lately, I also had the opportunity to work in perfume and flavorist school called ISIPCA in France, where I taught some classes on market research and consumer science. So Becky asked me to join her to work on the course 4, the applied part of it. So I think that my background will definitely help me to support her properly. I'm really excited to be with you and looking forward to see all of you.
Great.
Well, I would just say too that Gail is very overqualified for a TA. I just, we met and I thought, what a great way to get her involved, because she also has a lot of experience in non-food. And, Davis is we talk about food science a lot, but, the techniques and tools that we teach are applied to any product that you can touch and feel. And I think Gail brings a lot of that background and passion, and, being on campus at UC Davis, she can also share kind of as we go along the course, what's new happening there and how do we keep the connection strong. So really happy to have you on board, Gail. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, our next question is, how are we tested on knowledge of each course? Is it done through an online exam, various assignments, or a combination of both? JX?
Yeah, so the assessment piece for the course is done through a number of means, but primarily we have a quiz every 2 weeks. True, false, and multiple choice questions that cover the previous 2 lessons. But most of your grade is going to come from the assignments that you get on a weekly basis. Some of them might be, writing up a project or some specifications for a test, or doing some statistical analyses. And then we also look at your participation overall in the course on the discussion forum. And then there is a final exam at the end that is a bit comprehensive. But most people do very, very well. The purpose of the program is not to test you, it's to make sure you've been able to assimilate all the materials. And most people do very, very well. But that's how we do the assessment, combination of assignments and some bi-weekly quizzes, and then a final exam.
All right, so for the statistics prereq you included, Coursera is an option. Are there any specific courses you would recommend?
I'll take that one.
Thanks.
Also, I don't want you to be worried about statistics. What's important is to have some background. So if you took a stats course in college, you should be good to go, even if you took it a long time ago, because we will refresh a lot of these concepts. If you've never had any statistics, it's difficult and it will be a problem. So that's where we want you to make sure you take at least one basic stats course before you come into the program. But again, we'll teach you the basics of those statistical procedures, and you learn by doing. So once you run your code for your analysis on R or where if you prefer, then you learn by doing, and then when you get the output of that test, it starts making sense. So that's the expectation for statistics. The prerequisite, we need you to have at least some statistics, but it could be way back in the past. And then we'll teach you a lot of these techniques and their application, and then what the outcomes of those tests mean. We take great pride in having people not only learn the stats, but actually come to enjoy them by the end of the program. You won't find anybody who says, I hated every minute of it. Quite the opposite. There is a sense of accomplishment, and then they see the value of the statistics in the things that they do on a daily basis.
And that's such an important component of our program, I think, is really understanding the statistics, because we collect so much data that you cannot put that aside. That's really the fundamental learning of sensory science. So, yeah.
All right. Another question that I see is, in the course, do we use examples from industry assignments in which we need to go and collect sensory data?
That's what we do most of the time.
Okay.
Because that's really the purpose of the program.
Right. If I can add something, precisely the external sensory mapping was part of the assignments. So it was in the real world applying.
Great. I have a question here. What are the admission prerequisites for internationally educated professionals? Is there any English certificate required? I can answer that question. No, there isn't. And the only prerequisite is the college level statistics component. When you complete your application, you have a section there where you can say that you've met that requirement, or if you haven't met it, that you will need it before it is necessary to use it in course 2. Does the program need to be completed in one single cycle, or can it be divided in 2 terms? We encourage you highly to complete it in one single cycle if you can. However, we understand that life happens and sometimes not everyone can do that. So yes, you can. I have had students who've completed 2 courses in one cycle and then finished up in the next. Sooner together is always better, simply because you're going to bond with your other students. You're going to have this resource there, and then popping in and out of a cycle makes it a little bit harder. But it is possible, and we don't we don't deny people if you can't do the entire cohort in 1 year. Apart from Excel, is RStudio the only other statistical software we will be using?
No, what we've always done over the years is to provide one software for people to run all their analyses. So we used to have SAS as our default software, and then we switched to R. But students are encouraged to use whatever software they use at work or they learned in college. But I would say that it's highly recommended that you learn to use R, because most people use R these days. So again, you can use any software you'd like, but R is the one we will provide some instructions and tutorials for. And it will come very handy, because that's a language that most people are speaking around the world now.
Thanks.
I do remember that I was concerned about the software as well. But guys, the program provides everything you need for performing and running all the tests and all the assignments and all the topics. So don't be worried about that. So as Jen Xavier mentioned, you will have the tutorials, the instructions and protocols needed for performing well. So it's a great program.
Okay, next question is, do you have a workshop offered in place of this certificate program that is shorter or a refresher training? Not yet, but that's a great idea. We will put that on our list of things that we need to offer. That is a great idea. Thank you. The cost per course is $2,200. And there is a one-time non-refundable certificate fee of $125. So, and again, as far as paying, most people pay per course. Some people pay all at once. Some people pay in different calendar years. It just depends on your needs, and we try to help you out, not just academically, but fiscally as well. Next question is, if we would like to continue with a master or doctorate after, are there courses of the certificate taken into consideration or credited?
No, they are not. I mean, we might consider that in the admissions of new graduate students, for example, but that's you would not get credit for those, and you would have to take those courses again as a master's or PhD student, at least at UC Davis.
Okay, thanks.
Trucy?
Yes.
If I may jump in there, these courses are academically accredited.
Yes.
So these do qualify for academic credits that are transferable towards a graduate study. Now, it is up to the university, pending which program you decide to pursue, on if they accept them as a direct transfer for that program. However, each of these courses are fully academically accredited.
Yes. Thank you, Christy.
Thank you.
Someone is asking if they're all online or is there an in-person component, and it's all online. No one needs to come to Davis, and that's the beauty of this program. We can meet your needs right where you're at. Clara asked, can you see the sessions whenever you want? Are you able to see the session more than once?
Yes, to both.
Fabulous. Will you provide sensory software?
Yes, again.
Yes. Statistical software, yes. Hi, Amari. Yes, R is free on the R project is what we use, and that is free on the internet. And so, yes, you will be provided. Do you apply for each course independently or 4 courses together? Payment split up pre-course or total all at once? Again, it's broken up according to your needs. And yes, you're applying for the entire program, which is all 4 courses taken sequentially. I hope that answers your question. Do graduates typically have success with switching roles within the industry, i.e. quality to sensory with this certificate? Becky?
Well, I would say that Yes, they do. And we've surveyed past students, and they just have so much more confidence in their knowledge about sensory science that allows them to get into different positions or have different conversations with folks. And can't say that it will guarantee you a promotion, but certainly many students that have taken this program end up getting promoted into other jobs. They just come with that core base of knowledge and that increased confidence, and really can apply the materials. So I think if that's your goal, then you set yourself up for success and really try to provide value. If you want to move from quality to a sensory or an R&D role, then start having those conversations and see what you need to learn and apply to get those jobs. But we that's the whole purpose of doing this program, is to really provide you guys with additional tools and ways to think about this research that impacts the business.
And actually, as I mentioned before, imagine you can go further as you talked, because, for example, you can have any position in management, in direction. If your path is sensory and consumer science, you can go up in the scale up in the structure as you want it, and you will have the basic structure for performing well and have success in any different job that you decide to be.
All right, our next question is in the chat, and it's for Martha. It says, thank you so much for your story. It is similar to mine. I am currently trying to go from panel leading into either managing or even consumer research. I have an interest in both. What topics do these courses cover that will allow you to get that boost from panel leading to managing or even going into consumer research? I guess there is a disconnect between my skill set hands-on and the knowledge I have required in the field over the years since I studied chemistry.
Right. So the most important here is to connect the knowledge with the real life and the real business. To get the business into the science is not an easy peasy, but when you find a way to apply all this knowledge and all this science to make money and to make a better business with your customers, you really are in a great path to deploy another skills as a professional in the field. So to me, the program really the great input and the most valuable topics or knowledge the program provided to me was to have in-depth understanding of what sensory science is, and how can I apply the sensory science in the regular life. So you will find it. You will find your answer, and in your personal path, you will find it the way. But as you have the in-depth knowledge and a complete understanding, the whole picture, you will see the whole perspectives that you can be brought up in your professional career. So you will find a way.
Well, one thing I want to comment on that we touched on a few times already, but it's important to reinforce it, is that that piece about diversity, so that all of you who are interested in this program feel that you would belong here. The reason why I'm saying that is because we did mention the international diversity. We have about every year we have between 1/3 and 1/2 of our participants who are not based in the US. We also have all kinds of businesses represented. We want to stress that we have a lot of food and drink companies, but we also have all other types of consumer products represented, like personal care products and so on. And then the last piece is about the nature of the businesses who are represented. You've got anywhere from somebody who's starting a specialty coffee company all the way to a multinational company like Frito-Lay with, I think we have 3 people from Frito-Lay in the class right now, one in India, one in Mexico, and then one in the US. So you really have a very broad representation, and everybody belongs, and everybody gets something great out of the program.
Exactly. So that kind of leads to another question that's in the chat. Does the last applications course provide information from a Canadian perspective too, or is it only applicable to the US?
It's applicable to anywhere. I mean, we're not teaching country-specific techniques and tools. It's really just understanding how to execute research, how to design research, how to think about research in a way. So it's not country centric at all. We really do try to just provide you with principles and fundamentals of testing that can be applied to any product category in any location, and give you things to think about, because you may have to adjust or adapt depending on your particular situation. But the underlying principles still apply.
Correct. All right, awesome. One last question here is there a limit on how many students are accepted into this program? And is it considered a competitive program to get into? Yes, it is competitive, especially in the last COVID. We took a hit with COVID, but yes, it is. And we only have 60 spots that are available, and we are currently at 31 students who've applied and been accepted. So there are 30 spots available. Once we are filled, we do create a wait list, and it is a first come, first served basis. So I encourage you, if you are considering this, to definitely apply and get your position held. We do have the option, though, if you aren't able to, you are accepted into the program, but something happens and you're not able to go forward into this cycle, we can defer your application for 1 year. So we do have that available to you as well. All right, so one last thing that I want to do is ask you to complete where you're at now. What are your next steps? If you could let us know, and that way we can make sure, get geared up to assist you when you're ready. Have you applied? Do you have an application there? Do you need to know how to pay your invoices? All those things. Just let us know how we can help you, and we really want to be able to provide you with excellent service, because we definitely are providing you with excellent education in this field. Any other last questions?
Trucy, there's a last question in the chat.
Is this a new initiative, or has this program been offered previously? This program's been around for 20 years. We have a new iteration. We just revamped the program, and we have, the course material hasn't been updated. We try to keep it current and relevant all the time. We are not a stagnant program.
And
Well,
we
this
have
field,
about 750 alumni or so. I'm not sure what
Easily,
it is, but it's really built a community around the world,
right.
which is really great.
and if you're on LinkedIn, we do have a LinkedIn cohort of students that have taken this course. I think we have about 900 students or 900 professionals in our LinkedIn group. So it's kind of nice to be part of that community. And you know, one of the things that I've always really appreciated is just the networking opportunity with people around the world. And, you know, they become friends, you know, you become coworkers and really can rely on each other. Sensory is still a small field, but it's a very powerful and growing field. And as companies get more exposure to it, I think we see an uptick in, you know, what does sensory mean and how can it provide value to my organization?
Exactly. All right. Well, I see that quite a few of you here already have an accepted application, and quite a few of you also need to apply. So I encourage you to do that. All of you who have financial options that you want to discuss, please reach out to Suzette. She'll be happy to talk to you. And I see a couple of questions for the enrollment coach. Christy is your gal. Email her, and a few people have some specifics that you want to talk to about with me. Shoot me an email and we will address those individually with you. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming. And we just really appreciate you being here, and we look forward to spending the next cycle with you if at all possible. Have a great day, y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.